Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bashem Yahshai, Bashem Hokodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, for thou art able to be born again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharala, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about Elon Musk's recent purchasing of Twitter and what it's going to lead to. But before we get into this, let's read this. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And if you're in the know, and a lot of you Akim and Akwathium are, you understand that the surface depiction of Elon Musk purchasing Twitter because he wants to re-enable free speech on Twitter is a bunch of BS. Okay, this is the same man who, when he was shown up trying to save a group of miners stuck in a underground mine shaft over, I think, in Thailand, he was showed up by a deep sea dive or a diver, right? And the diver that saved those miners was, Elon Musk went on to basically call him a pedophile, because why else would he be in Thailand, right? This is the same man who busts up unions in his companies. Also, whose company recently, SpaceX that is, recently had to pay out a large amount of money for racist activity, right, at his company against Judites, okay? And what else did this guy do, right? His money comes from his father's emerald mine that was established during an apartheid South Africa, right, where he basically, came up on an emerald mine for pennies on the dollar. So this man here, don't believe that he's doing this for the ability to re-enable free speech, right? In fact, there's more likely two reasons why this was done, right? And first of all, let me remind you who Elon Musk is, right? First and foremost, he's an Edomite, which is what the so-called Caucasian race is called in the Bible, okay? And these people, they're always depicted in the Bible as having ulterior motives, right? It tells you, says, let's get that scripture real quick. This is Ecclesiasticus 12:11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. And that's exactly what you got to remember when you think on these Edomites whenever they're doing something which seems to be a righteous act, okay? Now, Elon Musk, you got to first, like I said, know who he is, right? He's an Edomite. Second, you got to look at what's happened, right? This man spent $44 billion on a company that makes no more revenue than your standard Olive Garden. Okay, Twitter only brings in about the same amount of money a year that Olive Garden does, okay? And that's nowhere near $44 billion, right? So why did Elon Musk overpay for this company? Well, because he's paying more than what it can actually bring forth, right? Because you see, Twitter is a weapon, right? It's a weapon for your mind, right? And not only that, but besides it being a weapon for Elon Musk to use for his propaganda and whatnot, it's also going to be used by the government, right? These kings of Edom, as a reason to bring in this new disinformation board, which Biden's White House announced, I believe, on yesterday, the 28th. Okay, this board, ran by the Homeland Security, right? The Biden administration should dismantle the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, not give it new stuff to do, right? It says, and it says the White House spent most of the last days fomenting against the Department of Homeland Security's newly announced disinformation board, an entity that the Biden administration hopes will counter misinformation being spread by human traffickers as well as the Russian government for Republican politicians and right-wing television hosts. However, it is clearly yet another act of authoritarianism by the Biden administration. Now, the thing about this disinformation board, though they may say it's going to be used to stop the disinformation from the drug and human traffickers in South America at the border and Russian involvement, right? But see, that's just the exoteric explanation for what it's really for, right? You see, really what it's going to be for is going to be the crackdown of the truth, this truth, the truth of the Bible, that the Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites, and that we're currently being held captive here in America and around the world by our enemies, the so-called Caucasians, who biblically are known as the Edomites, the same nation prophesied to be ruling at the end of the world before the second coming of the Messiah, and who would have the whole world upside down, morally corrupted and in a state of destruction. Okay, see, they don't want you to know what's really going on. This is why they need to make sure that they stay out in front of the truth and spread their lies. Now, besides this is another reason why Elon Musk is purchased Twitter, right? Let's go and read this. It says, 62-year-old paralyzed man sent out his first tweet with brain chip, right? Now, if you watch my videos, you'll notice, you'll remember a video I made a few months ago when this came out back in December, okay? When that Australian man had a brain implant inserted into him, and he was able to tweet out a message. I believe he tweeted out that he wanted a beer, right? So, but the point being is that, so this is a concept, right, that has now have a proof of concept, right? It is now possible to do, right? Facebook has been working on this, and Elon Musk's new company, Neuralink, right, now has a tested venue, Twitter, that it's going to now be able to use to offer people who take this MOTB in their brain an ability to do, right? What better way to share your thoughts in your head with the rest of the world who basically use Twitter as a center plaza for people to come together and share ideas, right? That is one of the biggest reasons why these devils are going through with this whole scheme right now, right? It's for the crackdown of disinformation, or so-called disinformation, and so that way the Neuralink implant has a willing audience, right? A place where people can now share their thoughts directly, right? And just like when you get an email from somebody who has an iPhone and at the bottom at the signature it says sent from an iPhone, watch, we're probably going to start seeing tweets from people who have done it through a Neuralink brain chip saying tweeted from a Neuralink, right? So it's these are the wiles of the devil, right? The breakthrough technology for the brain, right? Which it sounds like it's a good thing, but in reality, it's ultimately going to lead to a trap, right? It's going to lead to the MOTB, right? We've been saying it here, me and the Akim have been saying it for years now, right? And it all started with the apostles, and even going back to Abba Bivens, right? When this truth started coming out, man. But now that we're living even closer to the end days, you're starting to see a lot of these prophecies starting to ramp up. A lot of them are starting to be fulfilled. For example, you're seeing right now over in Ukraine and Europe, you're seeing the build up, or you're seeing the gathering of the world armies over there in the area where it tells us that Armageddon is going to take place, right? And just like that's happening over there, what's happening here is that the prophecy of the MOTB is being arranged and orchestrated by these devils, right? They're setting up, purchasing of companies. They're passing legislation, and they're also passing reasons why they need this, right? It's the whole Hegelian dialectic, right? They create the problem, they make people go crazy, and then they provide a solution that they've already had, right? And that's ultimately what this is. This is Ecclesiastes 9 and 12. For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. And that's ultimately what's going to happen, right? Right now, like I said, these prophecies are being lined up, right? And a lot of the people of the world don't even understand that these prophecies and the events that are being planned are not for their good, but for their destruction, right? Because you got to remember, these devils at the top, these Edomites, they have an agenda to pass, and that's to delete 7.5 billion people from off the face of the earth, leaving only 500 million people to be alive, right? That, and they also basically need to kill off the Israelites, you Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, man. They don't want you, on their earth anymore, is what they're thinking, man, right? And they believe that when the Lord shows up, that they're going to, wipe the floor with him, and that they're going to go ahead and rule forever, right? In their own queendom, right? With their 500 million friends and family, right? Which does not include you, your friends, or your family, right? This is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. So hopefully I made this video, concise and to the point. It's lucky this video is a little short today, Akim, but I need to keep it under 15 minutes because I'm going to be uploading this to my newest account, which I haven't verified yet, so I got that 15-minute limit. Alright, so hopefully, like I said, you found this video edifying. So until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Ruach Kodash, the waters, my teachers, the apostles, and elders, great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.